AI is the hot topic right now, whether it's revolutionizing industries or straight up threatening them. And recently, Matt Walsh sat down with Zachary Levi to talk about AI's impact on entertainment. And let's just say they had some thoughts.
I believe that in very short order, AI will be so good that it will be indiscernible from human content.
I've got my own take on this, especially as a filmmaker. So, in this video, we're going to break down what was said, what I agree with, and what I don't. And where I see AI taking us in the future, spoiler alert, it's not as simple as good or bad. Trust me, this conversation is one you don't want to miss. Let's dive in.
When it comes to the film industry, because I know that you feel strongly about this, and we talked just for a second off air about it, and I do too. So AI in the film industry, is this where things are heading? Are we heading to a point where they're just going to like type in a prompt and generate a movie and throw it out there for the masses? Are we going there?
Firstly, that's a nice set, or if it is a set, but wow.
And how do you feel about that if that's where things head?
So the short answer is yes, in my humble opinion. I've been banging this drum for a long time. I've always been quite nerdy when it comes to futurism, technology, like where we're going. The available technologies right now versus what they're going to be versus what they're going to be. I love it. I love how things work. I have kind of an engineer's brain, and I love understanding all of these things. And also because I love to engineer new ideas and things, and like, oh, there's this new whatever, LED panel and this new solar panel, but you can make this new whatever, like things like that. So as I've been tracking it, my opinion about where we're headed, my prophecy of where we're headed, is in very short order, by the way. Everyone debates a lot of these details. Some people debate not for nothing. Well, we'll get back to the recent Jeremy's Razors commercial. Jeremy and I have very different ideas of where we think AI is going to go and what it's ultimately going to do as far as disruption. I believe that in very short order, AI will be so good that it will be indiscernible from human content. Meaning graphics engines will get so good, NVIDIA graphics engines will get so good. They basically already are right now. It just depends on how much time you want to spend in the render and everything. Mm-hmm. But you can get short clips, video clips of human beings that are entirely generated by AI moving and talking and doing now. So the more compute power we start putting toward all of these AI models, which is the arms race of today, everyone is like compute power. They're opening back up 3 Mile Island reactor so Google can have the compute power to go build more AI.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing stopping it. I mean, now there's China as well, which, yeah, they're like they're going all the way with the whole AI thing. And yeah, there's nothing stopping it. It's, like I said, the AI you see today is going to be the worst it's going to be. And in 5 years' time, I don't know where it'll be, but like I said, it's just going to get better and better over time. So
this is where we're going. Moore's Law, I'm sure you're familiar with the graph of like, here's, technology, fire, the wheel, it's like big spans of horizontal movement, and then microchip. And then and we go straight up. That's a vertical line of just exponential growth. So people saying 2 years ago, it's going to be stupid. Look, the picture's got like 6 fingers. Then it did. Exactly. Now we're 100 times better than what that is, and the next step will be 1,000 times better. So if I believe that to be true, and I do believe that to be true, then all of a sudden now you have a technology that allows anyone, studios or Joe Schmo, to sit at home and work with an AI model to then creatively curate whatever you want. A movie, a TV show, a video game, a song, just by prompt, just by saying, I want these elements to it, these types of characters, this feel, this tone, this style, blah, 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 blah. Details about it, enter. What? In moments, you have a one-of-one of any of those types of things. That you, by the way, this also plays on people's hubris, because now you are the creator. You're the filmmaker. You're the game maker. You're all of these. I don't need anybody else. And I get to take the credit for this thing. And by the way, rock and roll. I don't begrudge anybody, activating their creative powers to go make something cool. The problem is, I don't think anybody's thinking through truly downstream of what that means. Because if you give everyone the power to make whatever they want, whenever they want, they don't want what you want or what you make. Not nearly as much. And if it's indiscernible, it'd be one thing if watching a movie made by real humans, you could really tell that's real humans. And there's a lot of people that argue you'll always be able to tell because, emotions are a human thing. And I'm sorry, but even we are replicating what we learn and see.
I agree with him 100%. Like, this is the argument I hear as well from artists, and I'm an artist myself. But even so, today, like, the general audience, they don't give a shit, to be honest. And yeah, like I said, over time, the computing power and everything is just going to be able to mimic every nuance and emotion, that to the point where you won't be able to tell the difference, like whether it was created in AI or not. This human thing, come on, let's be real. Let's see in the next 5 or 10 years, prove me wrong. But I'm agreeing 100% with Zachary Levi here. And yeah, it's think about it. You're just writing prompts where to create the same thing, like to create a film, a professional Hollywood blockbuster film, it requires lots and lots of money, like millions and millions of dollars. It requires a lot of people and crew and planning and heavy equipment and heavy stuff, and specialists from this field and that field, and why would you want to do that when you can just simply type in the correct prompts and bam, it's there. And it's just like with all industries I see. It's just like what happened with the music industry, with the video game industry as well. Back, I think it was like 20 years ago, you had arcades where you had these amazing games, and at the time what you can have on your home console was like, let's say the PlayStation 1, which wasn't quite on par with graphics and performance, but eventually it did catch up to the point where now the arcade industry is dead. Now they have those novelty games, those claw machines and stuff, and yeah, gone are those days where you have like the latest Tekken and Street Fighter games. You can play that at home now. Why would you want to go to an arcade, lose your money? Like, you pay like $2 and you die and you got to put another $2 in. Those days are gone. And yeah, I see the film industry moving towards that direction. So,
all regurgitating some version of something that we've learned. And once AI models, their computing power, thinking power, is able to scan all of these movies and see where all of these moments of tears and emotion and how those all interact and work through a story, it will, with NVIDIA graphics, it will simulate that on a screen and you will feel it. You will feel it. So I think that we're all in for some really, really dire straits, to be perfectly honest. It's one of the things that I am very... I've been trying to build a studio for years to fix all these other problems in Hollywood, but this is like a whole new level of like, guys, we got to build this and we got to build it now. And I do think that when we do, we will have created a place that safeguards certified organic human-made content. And when we do that, there will still be a niche audience for it. But it'll be a niche audience. It's like the audience that buys vinyl right now or shops at a really nice health food store.
Yeah.
It costs a little bit more, but it's better for you, you know?
Well, let me say, because I agree with everything you said about all of it, except for the last part about it being a niche audience. And that, you might be right. You might be right that down the line when AI just completely takes over and you can just generate a movie by typing it in. And you're also right that if you can do that, then like, why do we need
Anybody else?
None of us need to make movies because they don't need to watch ours. That's your point.
Yeah.
But so maybe that happens. And then people who are making actual art they're just playing to this niche crowd. Maybe that.
But that's scarier. You create the films that you want to create and watch, and you are your own audience. Yeah, that's just a weird way to see things, and a weird form of entertainment where you create the entertainment according to how you customize it towards your liking, yet you don't have others, unless it's your close friends or someone that you know who might want to gain access to a link to your film. Then that would be your audience. But then, yeah, in that case, it will be very niche. Strange times, but let's hope it doesn't get there. But we'll see.
I am cautiously optimistic, or maybe I should say, at least I want to be optimistic.
Sure.
That it won't be a niche audience because it'll be much greater. It'll be still a mainstream audience looking for real art because that's what art is. You know, art is. I think there are a lot of legitimate applications for AI. I think that it's a very impressive technology.
Sure, absolutely.
There are a lot of ways you can use it that are totally legitimate. But it cannot make art. Like, it literally can't. It can do the thing that looks like it, right? It can do that, but it can't actually make art, because art, by definition, is an expression of the human soul. That's what art is. It is someone conveying something that's deeply within them through an art. That's what makes it art. So if it's a computer, it's not art. And so what I'm saying is that I think, just as art is an expression of the human soul, human beings have a deep yearning for art in their own souls. And so they're not going to want to actually go watch the AI-generated movie for the same reason. This is the comparison I would make.
But what if they don't know? What if it was created in AI and you show a piece of art to someone? I think most, like, you can see some of the AI-generated art that's coming out these days. And if I was to show some average, Joe Schmo, he would think that's an amazing art created by a legitimate artist. I don't know.
It's not exact. It's not a one-to-one, but it's close. Any even slightly advanced computer can make right now, can make a really beautiful painting. Like you could have any computer could make a really gorgeous image, right? Well, if some art museum out there said they were going to have an art show with a bunch of computer-generated AI art, I don't think anyone would go see it.
But if you never told them it was created in AI, that's a different story. Then they might accept it, and then they'd be the fool for accepting, and then be like, oh, okay, we didn't know it was AI art, we're going to take it down now. Like,
go look. Maybe as a novelty, but no one's going to act, because who can? I know that a computer can make a beautiful image. I know that. I'm not impressed by that. The thing that makes the painting impressive is specifically that a person made it.
That's only because it was created in AI. It's just like film and digital. There's always been that debate, like film versus digital, and it's been the longest time. I can tell you that 99.9% of people, if you treated it a certain way, like something that was shot on digital, people won't be able to tell. There are ways to make it look like film and feel like film, look like film, and add all those, film grains and such, so on and so forth. But you won't know. Like the whole digital versus film thing is gone now. It was something that was up for discussion maybe 10 years ago, but now it isn't. It's the technology. The technology now is just so good that you know all the films now, except for the films that are shot on IMAX, even the IMAX ones, like some of them are converted and so on and so forth. But anyway, most of the stuff you see in the cinemas are shot on digital. Ari, Alexa, and Red, and so whatnot. The Black Magic cameras.
Is specifically that a human being, the brushstrokes, the fact, the
Same
statue
thing,
of David
brushstrokes,
is only
film
impressive
grain.
because a human being carved that thing out of stone.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, if it was just made by a computer in 2 seconds, all of a sudden it goes from being one of the great works of art of all time to being absolutely nothing. And so that's how I feel. I think it's apparently how you feel. I also think that everyone kind of feels that way. So I don't know that this can have an audience.
I totally hear all that. I would first say that I wonder, I posit if perhaps people have less of a desire specifically for art and more for creation. And art is a part of creation, but what the audience is now going to be given is the power to create. Now, this is part of the folly, which is it will make people think that they are an artist because they creatively typed in these words. Now, what is a book on your iPad? Somebody typed words and it's on your technology, it's on a computer. Would you say that's not art because it's simply on your computer? No, you'd say that's still a book, it's just in a different, right? People are gonna type full paragraphs of what it's not coding, it's not like traditional coding, but you're coding, creatively coding, by telling the computer, this is how I want this book, this story, to be represented on this computer as either a film, television show, video game, or song. So we're in a weird no man's land where, yes, we can all kind of stand a bit more altruistically, those of us who stand altruistically, and be like, never. I'm not going to want that more than I want human stuff. And I would say most people want to pride themselves as being like, nah, I'd never do it. But then they're going to be given the opportunity to go create whatever they want, whenever they want. And they're going to feel very creative in doing that. But again, I think that...
Yeah, that's a good point that he made. Yeah, I think some people are just so attached to what they're used to. Just like he was saying, a book and what you read out of a tablet, it's the same thing. It's the same content. Some, what do you call them? I don't know, but yeah. But for those, let's say those book lovers, right? They're going to be attached to the book. They like the feel of the paper and turning the pages and such, and they will be opposed to, say, reading off from an Amazon. I don't know what you call it, those Amazon digital paper things, or from an iPad. But you're reading the same content and you're getting the same experience from either, depending on which format you choose. It's the same thing. Yeah.
It will be, not only will it be indiscernible, right? But there's so many other parts of human nature that are at play.
Yeah. So just to end what I was just saying, yeah, I think just people are just so attached to what they're used to. Like for me, back in the days, I mean, like I grew up watching films on VHS and using CD compact discs and listen to music that way, so on and so forth. And it's a good, I mean, these were good times. These were physical things. It's nostalgia and all of that combined. But you can't say that what is out today is any lesser just because it's something new and maybe something that's digital now, something that you can't feel, touch, smell, all those senses. Yeah. So
play that literally erode our ability to stand that ground. And one of those things is money, bro. A human-made movie, $20, right? Let's say, round number. You got to sell tickets for $20 to make back your money in a decent enough way in a decent enough time to pay off the movie that you made. Okay. You're going to be hit with, want to go see this thing for $2? And it's, again, you know it's not made by humans, but oh my God, it looks amazing. It's got all this IP that I already know. It's Fast and the Furious 21. And by the way, none of the actors even had to show up because they just used past performances and all that stuff. They CG'd all them in, but half that movie is CG anyway. They're driving cars to the moon. I mean, whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like it's already super surreal and out there. So you're just going to you'll just fully CG it. And the CG will all look better because it's next level AI CG. And on top of that, you'll be able to, you'll get a menu. So it's like Fast and the Furious, and you get to even decide which characters you want to be in it. Because like maybe there's some that you don't really like and some that you do. And sometimes you want to bring back that character that wasn't that, okay, yeah, it's going to be Vin, and I'm going to bring back, and I want Paul Walker back. And you're going to get Paul Walker back. And on top of that, you might be able to bring back other long dead actors that were never in a Fast and the Furious movie. You'll be able to go, I want Gene Kelly in this. And because an agent, and these exist, went to the estate of Gene Kelly and said, hey, I'll give you a couple $1 million to use his NIL in making movies and bringing him back to life. They go, give me the money.
But yeah, that's the ultimate factor, right? It's the money. It's like these days, like recently, I was just checking out how much movie tickets are in Australia. Like here in Vietnam, it's pretty cheap, it's affordable. But I was just checking like movie tickets in Australia. It's $25 for an adult. So if I was to go with my wife, that's $50 just to watch a movie. Where these days streaming is king. So why pay $50 when I can pay $10 a month for Netflix and watch unlimited amount of films that they release there? So yeah.
So now you got Gene Kelly singing in the rain in Fast and the Furious 20.
But this is
and
cool
on top of
but this is cool how he's talking about like how films can be customized due to AI because of things being cheaper and accessible and
all of that,
whatnot.
You get to scan your face and your voice, and you get to be the star of the
Oh,
movie.
that's scary.
Or your kids do. And you telling me that if a new Superman movie or Shazam movie or whatever comes out, and your kid has the ability to go be Superman?
Maybe, but that to me, that's all. I think we fundamentally agree because we seem to agree that this is bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But your point is that it's bad, but it is going to take over, and people will just.
You think that people's humanity will hold out and it won't give AI?
I mean, it's humanity, yes, but I think it's just as a spectacle, like that scenario you're describing.
Yeah.
Sounds like a spectacle that, and maybe it becomes its own category of thing that people want to go see because they could go see their kid as Superman. But it's still not. It's not what actually makes people connect with the film to begin with. It's what.
And this is the argument I always hear from opposing sides. It's the same thing. This mumbo jumbo, human interaction, human this, human that. I'm sorry. Believe me, I am like not for AI, but seeing where AI is going and where I can see it potentially ending up in the next 5 years. I'm sorry, this whole human mumbo jumbo, the hardware, everything, all that stuff's just going to mimic what us humans can do. And I'm sorry, we are going to feel a connection as long as we don't tell the audience that this content was made using AI. Who's going to know? And you're the fool at the end of the day.
It's why choose your own adventure books, okay? Like the most analog version of AI, choose your own adventure book. Those are entertaining for kids. There's no such thing as a choose your own adventure novel that adults read because it's like when I'm reading Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, I don't want to pick the end. I want to know what the end was for I want Dostoevsky to tell me his story. If I'm sitting around a campfire and someone's telling me a story, now if you're sitting around with kids, and I, if you've ever told a story to a kid, they might, and you're telling the story, they might chime in and say, oh no, we'll make this happen. Or what, okay, well, what if a monster shows up here? Like they want you to take their, but with adults, when we're listening to a story, it's like, no, I want to hear your story. I want to hear your story. Tell me your story. And so I think that maintains, and it's why, here's what I'll say. I think the AI-generated movie can only be successful if we get to a point, and I think this might happen, where they're just not honest with us about whether this is real or not. So if it's so sophisticated that you can't tell, and they don't tell us that it's fake, well then yeah, maybe it could be successful. But if we know that, the problem is that you can go, you watch the movie and you see the spectacle and you're very impressed with the spectacle, but there's just no way to become emotionally invested in it because no human is involved at all at any level. And the only reason,
except for the person that created it.
Well, but all they did was just type it into a computer and they.
But that's the thing, that's the same with CGI as well, right? These days, there's that gray area where you don't know what's real and what's CGI. And same thing with AI. If that's all kind of molded within what's live action, CGI, and AI, and so if you're not told, if the audience isn't told that it's made in AI, they're going to feel all the impact and all the things that he mentioned.
Computer did the rest. So that
understood, but to them and to everyone like them, I mean, Matt, we don't live in the world that we grew up in. We live in the world that our kids and younger people are growing up in right now. And why are television viewership and even film viewership down? It's because they all have a smartphone and they're all creators. They're all making TikToks and YouTube videos. This is just going to amplify that to the next level. Now they get to go make their own. By the way, and keep in mind, unless you tell it specifically what the ending is, it's a surprise to you. You're just giving it some elements and saying, run. And then you get to watch the thing. It's new to you. You gave it you put some ingredients into the stew and you mixed it up, but you don't know what that stew is going to taste like at all until the end. And people will start getting just enthralled with, well, what is the AI going to do? I wonder what the end will be. And I'll go, what? And even just for the gimmick alone, people will spend more and more time doing that. If everyone only watched 2 movies a year and everyone chose to now just watch half of their movies as the gimmick of AI, because, oh my God, wouldn't it be funny to go to Baba? Well, now 50% of the market's already gone. But I don't think it's even going to be half. I think that there's going to be lots and lots of people that are enthralled with the shininess of, and again, this.
But that will die out eventually. Like right now, AI is, like I said, it's in that blossoming stage. So everything's like, wow, AI can do this, can do that. But over time, in the next 5-10 years, just like CGI, it's not going to be that impressive. It's going to be like, okay, that's made in AI, obviously. And yeah.
This lure, I think a false one, but that you're the movie maker. You're going to start seeing this all over the place, by the way. Like the messaging's already starting. It's like, what an amazing way to democratize filmmaking and let everyone have access. It's like you are going to destroy the industry. Like it will not survive. It not survive in a large way. I mean, it will. I do think it will become more of a niche thing. By the way, and I hope I'm wrong, bro. I don't.
Exactly. I'm on the same boat as Zachary. I hope he's wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Because this is my industry, this is my job, this is my bread and butter. And if AI is going the way it does, I'm in trouble. I have to find some other thing to do, maybe cooking or something. I don't think AI can copy physical things that we need to actually put in our mouths and poop out. But yeah,
this is not a Nostradamus. I think that, like, I genuinely want this to be wrong. I want people to wake up and recognize, not just for Hollywood, every industry around the world. If we're not careful, and by the way, even if we are careful, that's the crazy thing. Even if we are careful, it's going to start disrupting workforces all over the world and very soon, man.